Everyone, I just want to do a quick, fairly short review on a P60 host, being this one here, which is a Taclite. Not really a company as such, it's a guy called Anthony, I believe it is, who is making these in Nebraska, I think it is. He put up a few on the forums, Candle Power forums, saying he had a few of these for sale, and there wasn't too much information at first, and then a few people asked a few questions, including myself, and he expanded on them, and they looked really good. Just straight off the bat, I think just the looks on them and the few pictures he put obviously give people enough to want to ask a few more questions about them, and I'm really glad I actually went for one, because they really are a fantastic host. Myself, I've only got a couple of various Solar Force hosts with add-ons and all the rest of that good stuff, but I've never really had a host that I've wanted to take out with me as such that I felt, I mean the Solar Force hosts are alright, they just never seem to be as robust or a bit unique as something I wanted to take out with me and actually use. So I was actually looking at something like an LZ host or something like that. I mean, you get a lot of custom made ones by 5 mega, things like that. I haven't had any, so I can't really say much, but you get the ones that are made out of pure copper and things like that. Yeah, they're really nice hosts and all the rest of it, but would I actually use it? Probably not. I think the next thing you're looking for really is a Surefire of some sort that's been bored out to take an 18650. Can be expensive, you can get second-hand ones, all the rest of it. So when I saw these on offer, just as they were, buy them, ship them over, I had to have a look at them, and he actually has on his website, there is a website for these, but there's not great much information, but he's not building these as an actual product. I think from the story he put on there, he wanted to make something for one of his friends who was going out on deployment. So I think he's a machinist by trade, and so he decided to make some of these. There's some early models that are a bit different, and some people said they liked that model better, which it does look good, but I have to admit I really like this one. I think it's a good balance of everything. I mean, you can see the actual, it's not knurling, it's where he's machined this ribbed body and head, obviously more for cooling, but the actual body, the machining on it is absolutely superb. But they're not just ridges, they've got a slight chamfer on them, so they're not kind of rough as you're gripping them. They are very grippy, very good with gloves, etc. But they, because it's slightly, the edge is slightly taken off, it is really nice and smooth when you're holding it. Really is nice, and you can just see it's just long enough so the head just sits in your hand nicely, and then you can easily get to the switch, which I thought it might be a bit too wide almost. I don't really like really wide switches, but this is just right. No problem getting the thumb in there to activate the switch. It's a McClicky switch. Obviously it stands up just fine with the crenellated bezel. You can see when it's on, etc. And because of the wider head, it actually tail stands just fine. No problem at all. Nice and sturdy. Obviously I just went for the host. He does sell, or he was selling these with the drop-in, which was a nail bender drop-in, the host, the lens, the switch, and an 18650 charger. I just got the host itself, so you get the actual host, the switch, and the glass lens, which I believe is like an ultra clear glass lens, top of the line and all that. The actual threads and the general machining, you won't be able to hear it, but there's no grating at all. It's well lubricated as it's come, but the threads are right up there with my HTS's. I've only got one Max Tri-DC and a couple of Prometheus Alphas, and the Prometheus Alphas, I think that's some of the best machining ever, and the threads on this are just as buttery smooth, really, really nice. I'm not exactly sure, I don't know if they're Acme threads or not. I'd have to confirm them, but they're absolutely superb anyway. Obviously I've just fitted a drop-in in this. It's just a VIN drop-in off Candle Power forums. Just a multi-mode one, all just wrapped in aluminium foil and squeezed nice and tight in there, and it fits in just nicely. It is a really good fit. Obviously the crenellated bezel comes off. That's where your lens sits, and the drop-in just goes in there. And it's a lovely fit. The machining on inside and out is brilliant. As you can see, the walls of this are really thick. Now, Anthony did say you can board it for various things, whatever you're after. Can't remember what he said it can be bored up to, but pretty much whatever you want. And obviously I was after an 18650. I actually give the specific cell the AW one, protected cell, and he's bored it just for that. I suppose it could be a slight bit tighter, but then I'm limited to this cell, so I've got a few various other cells, but these are the main ones I've got. So, but once it's in, there's a little bit of rattle, but once the head's in and the whole thing's tight, there's no battery rattle at all. I mean, the Solar Force ones definitely feel a bit slacker, but these are just right, so I've got a bit of flexibility. And as I say, the walls on them are really thick. The switch is perfectly set down in there. So there's no point in me going through various weighing the thing and all the rest of that. I haven't got the facilities, and I didn't want to do such an in-depth review like that. I just wanted to just compare it to a few other things so people can get an idea of its more size and everything. I believe it's not HA3 coated. From what I believe he said it's not HA3 coated, so I'm assuming it's HA2. But I don't know if it's a paint job or what, but it's got that kind of feel of an Armitech Predator. You know, it feels, rather than just a paint, it does feel more grippy even on the smooth surfaces. So I'm not sure what he's used, but it certainly seems fine. I say there's a video he's done himself on Cannabis Forums on the post he put up of him trying to beat the crap out of this light basically, and he certainly did that. They set off a small yield explosive, I believe, a shotgun shell at it, dragged it behind a car down a runway, dropped it off a great height, all the rest of that. So it was certainly, you know, it can certainly take it. And yeah, the paint was scratched and, you know, here and there, but no real damage to it. Even after the explosives, and that was a few chips here and there, which is to be expected, but it certainly looked to take the beating as well as any videos I've seen. Again, my favourite being the Armitech Predator, where the test they put that through, then the video really showed what it can take, and this certainly seemed to be up there, if not more. And this seems more like the kind of light that you'd want to have a few scratches on. You know, you don't want to keep it pristine, so it certainly looked the part. I think it's as he's put, he's made out of US aluminium that he makes locally himself. It's just about 6 inches long. It starts at 1.38, I think he's put, and it tapers down the body to 1 inch. And obviously, as I say, he ships it as just the host or the full kit. But I'll put a link, I'll try and remember to put the link for the video and the actual post. I'll put the link to the post on the forum of when he's obviously gone about selling these lights. I think he's still got a few left, but we've put up a few posts, try to get him to encourage him to make a few more, because that'd be ideal. Obviously, as I say, the hosts, most people that will be looking at this will certainly know what they are. Obviously this is just a host, and then say you get the drop-in which fits in the end, and they're the various drop-ins. These are just a few of mine that I keep in this belly case, some standard ones, and then a couple from Nailbender which he sells these with, which are absolutely superb, and then some from Vin as well, which are equally as good. So you can get a few of them, and then obviously you've got your host. Take all the beating you want. These things are robust as hell. You drop them in there, and then you've got, you know, you take this with that, and you've got a light that can be used in multiple situations. And I could trust using this in anywhere. It's a good size, and it's big enough to say I feel like I could take out and use it harshly and use it a lot. Some of the drop-ins you get put out a lot of lumens, so you can use them for that. And yeah, I still use it around the house and for kind of more, you know, DIY jobs and everything. I actually did some repointed a chimney inside my attic the other day, and I used this. It was, you know, small enough to be able to just lay down on everything to get a good angle of light. I even used it put in the side of my mouth. It's a little bit heavy, but you know, it's not for long-term use, but it's usable enough in all sorts of situations. Let's see if we can put it up next to a few others just to get an idea. So some of the favourites: Max Tri-ADC, and next to it, let's get the size. You know, this Tri-ADC is tiny, still puts out a hell of a lot of light, so to speak, but say the threads on this are just as good on this and all of these. See, the just fits inside there for, you know, it's like obviously wider for the P60 to take. But not much bigger to grip on that one. To grip on that one. This one's kind of just pokes out the end for the switch, just at the end for the light, which is great. And this one, same kind of hold. Obviously you've got the longer on the end there, which again is for this type of light I think is brilliant. It's not overly big, it's not overly small. It's a Prometheus Alpha shorty body edition. I can see this is an 18350. This is obviously an 18650, and it's not much bigger than this, and the heads are fairly the same. This is a bit wider, but it's just different type of light. I love these. I've got a full size Alpha in this body as well, and they're superb. But I have to admit, I really like the hold of this one compared to these as well. So your HJS, ICRI. Again, not much longer, but obviously this is a 16340. These look more similar, but again the HJS is one you're going to use. It's meant to be used, it's meant to take a beating, and this one certainly feels it's going to be up to the same. I mean, the body on this is probably about the same width as the HJS overall, which is quite impressive. And obviously it's got the same kind of design where the body tapers down to the way you hold it, and obviously this has got that for your grip, so your grip's fitting right there. What else? So probably a better size. I mean, the Amitech Predator, as I say, again, this is one that I take out a lot, and I believe it can be used a lot. This almost has the same kind of feeling as the ridges that are on the Amitech Predator here, where they're kind of chamfered off, but they still give a hell of a lot of grip, and the texture of them feels the same as well. I know this has got, I can't remember the name of the coating that they use on this now. It is especially hard coated. It's not just painted, or I can't remember it now, but it has lasted a long time. It does give a lot of grip, even though it is fairly smooth, so it's a good balance. But with the extra ridges on the body here, it does give a fantastic grip. Obviously this is an 18650 well, but a much bigger head for throw. Yet with the right dropping in this, it still does a really good throw comparable to this. Obviously with a better, smaller grip size. Obviously different lights for different things. 2AA Quark. Again, this is slightly shorter. And another popular one, the EA4. So I think it stacks up really well against them all, to be honest. I mean, just seems like it's going to be I can use this in a lot more situations than some of my others, because I take them out for various things. This seems like it's going to be a good all-round light, which is what it's supposed to be really with your P60 drop-ins. You can get different drop-ins for different things and use it in all sorts of situations. I just never had the right hosting. I really do like this one, and I can see it getting a lot of use, which is why I ordered a couple more drop-ins to go with it. See if we can get a few of them next to each other. If they all line up. I'm struggling to see with this camera, so I do apologise, it's on an awkward angle. So you can get a rough idea there of how everything stacks up together. And the size of it, I think, is a perfect balance. You may be able to make it a tad smaller. I have got the Taclite SC600W, which is one of the smallest 18650s I've got, and it is great, but almost sometimes it feels too small in a grip. Holding it in certain ways it's better, but with this, if you're gripping it, using it in the normal kind of grip you would with that kind of tail clicky switch light, I think that is a perfect size. Your entire hand encompasses all the whole body and just rests on the head, so you're going to draw some of the heat out as well as the fins on their own. But it's it just seems a perfect size for me. I thought it looked wider than I thought it was, and when it's come and I've compared it to a few other lights, it's just right. It's not too thin and it's not too thick, and obviously he's taken the design from, whether he has or not, but obviously some designs that have worked really well for very, very popular customs, such as the Max and HDS. He's got the same, not quite the same, but roughly, where you've got the thinner body and then slightly wider at either end. But he's done it just right. I think you can get switches that are too aggressive, too wide. Same with the heads. I think this is a perfect balance. Obviously, people have their own opinion. I haven't used it enough to say how well it draws heat out, how long it lasts for a while. I have used it for a while, and it can get quite hot. That's just proving it's doing its job though, and I've had no trouble with it. So I hope it does last a good long while, and I'll probably do a follow-up report, or maybe do a report take when I take it out camping, because I think that's going to be a great light going out camping. It is O-ring sealed all ends, so it should be fine out in the elements, and I want to get it a bit scratched up. So in some of these, like the Max, I haven't used this as much as I wanted to. It is obviously titanium, really well made, really well machined, really thick walled. It could take a hell of a beating, but with some of these type lights, you almost don't want. Even with the HDS, I haven't used it as much as I wanted to, because it is a custom. It took me that long to get it. You almost don't want to ruin it. Whereas this, not saying that it's any less worthy than any of these, but I just feel like I could take it out and give it more of a beating, and it's gonna wear it better. It's gonna give it more character, and it'll look better, because the pictures that Anthony's put up of after he's had his beaten up, it almost gives it more character, and I have to admit, it does give it certain. It looks better when it's got a bit of wear on it, or it does to me anyway. I had suggested to him, when he was looking for a name for this particular model, I'd suggested to call it the HUF, because I said it looked, with the US made badge on the back there, the flag, I was saying it almost looks like a military type thing, like the old Willys Jeep. I absolutely love the Willys Jeep. I think they're just, brilliant engineering, what was needed at the time. It does its function as it should, no frills attached, and it's lasted, and they're still around to this day. And I said, obviously that was an LUV, light utility vehicle. I said you should have called this the HUF, as in heavy utility flashlight, and he seemed to like the idea, so I hope he goes with that, because I think that suits it well, instead of a HUF laser engraved somewhere along the side. Now he has said that if he gets enough interest in these, he will look at making some more, because I believe he makes custom knives. I haven't seen any of his work on there, but I think I'm going to check it out, because if this is anything to go by, it'll be certainly worth taking a look at, I think. So he does say that he wanted to get more, making a few more flashlights, now that he's obviously made a few of these prototypes and this product now, and there seems to be a market for it. There are plenty of people on Candlepower forums that are like myself. I love it when somebody new comes up and they show great work, and mainly when they show great effort and pride. You can tell when people put a bit of effort into the work, and you can tell it shows, rather than somebody who's just who already makes a lot of these type things and just adds a bit of extra material and makes something else. You can tell he's actually done this. Obviously, if that story was what he said was making it for a friend, he's obviously put a lot of effort and pride into it. He is a machinist. He obviously, you can tell he's good at his job. He's good at his work, and it definitely shows in here. And you can tell he seemed genuinely proud about it and wanted to sell a few. He seemed like a really nice guy. He was a fantastic guy to deal with. He shipped it over to me. I'd sent a few emails and he helped me out there, and it got over here no problems, really quick, and it's absolutely superb. I'm chuffed to bits with it, so I just wanted to sing a few praises with a video. I only apologise, I'm not going to start getting depth micrometers out and anything like that and start measuring certain things and measuring the proper length and put it on scales. I'm sure someone else will do that along the line, maybe himself, but I just wanted to show it in comparison with a few things. It is quite hard to judge how big it's going to be, or if it's going to be a bit much or a bit less. So I'm happy that it's just right for me, for what I'm going to use it for. I think it's a good balance for a P60. I think it's a good balance of really well made, really good design. It looks good. It feels really good in the hand. It's perfectly machined. It's solid. It's everything I want in a P60 host anyway, and I haven't really used my drop-ins as much as when I first got them for some of them, because I didn't want to take the other hosts out. I'm definitely going to get them all back out now. We're saying I've ordered the one that's in this, that's come now. I've got another one on order, so I think I'm going to start building up my drop-in collection again because of this. So I hope people do give him some more support, and I hope he does make a few more of these and maybe designs a few different ones. He did say he wanted to get into making some single RCR 123 type lights, a horse, I think he was saying, and I hope he does. So I hope people can give him a bit of support, and if you were thinking about one, I think you should get one, because trust me, they are fantastic. So yeah, if anyone else has got any questions or anything, maybe if you want to see against some other lights, I've got a few others, any small lights, or putting next to anything else, I don't know, or any general questions you want to know, leave the comments below and I will certainly try and answer them. And I'll put the links up to the post on the forum and to his video, and I hope everyone takes a quick look at them. So thanks everyone for watching. I hope someone's found any sort of insight in this. I'm sorry if I've rambled on. I didn't really have much to compare it to. I just thought I'd do a quick show and tell, so to speak. So I hope everyone checks out the links and gives it a second thought. So thanks everybody for watching. Bye bye.